It is harvest day. Today we are harvesting 3 plants that I have right here. Chill Out OG F3 generation. This plant I've shown, or these plants I've shown on the channel several times in past videos. This is a breeding run. I had a really beautiful male F3 that I used to pollinate these females. This is the same pheno, just in 3 different containers. And there are seeds forming within the buds. We are currently on week 13 of flower. Typically, if it's just a flower run, between 56 and 62 days is the harvest window for it. But since these plants have been pollinated and seeds are forming, pushing it longer is gonna allow more seeds to be developed, as I almost fall. So these plants are looking great so far. Normal senescence that you see towards the end of the life cycle. The leaves start to deteriorate. There's less water being uptaken from the roots. And so these plants are definitely ready to chop down. These F3s I found to be a little bit different than past generations. So in past generations, a lot of folks that have been growing it out know that the plant is typically a little bit more squattier when it comes to its morphology. These ones right here are a little bit more stretchier. So in this F4 generation, once I harvest these and get the seeds from it, these seeds should, keyword should, be a little bit more stretchier than past generations. The taste and smell, it's still gonna have that earthiness, that strong citrus flavor. One thing I noticed about this here is, I selected, was that the fuel on this really packs more of a punch. There's also more of like a fruity sweet flavor, which I know some of you have gotten from the F3 generation. So hopefully in the F4 generation, there should be some fruitiness in a lot of the phenos as well. And then for effects, typical effects from the Chill Out OG is what I'm thinking is gonna come out of the F4s. Headstone, a more relaxing, narcotic effect, but not too much to where you're couch locked. You still be able to kind of be active and be able to do things when you're standing up and going about your day and stuff like that. Makes me very hungry. I know effects are all different between all different people, right? People can have different effects depending on the endocannabinoid system and how these impacts their bodies. For me, it makes me very hungry. So that's one thing I wanted to call out here. Very euphoric as well. As far as how they look, you're seeing the fade happening here at the end of the life cycle like normal. Very dense structure, packed with trichomes on here. There's definitely some chunkiness to the buds as well. Of course, this is gonna look different than a typical flower run because these have seeds forming within the buds. So it definitely looks a little bit different here. They were grown in soil. 2-gallon grow pots. I had the Blue Mat auto watering system connected here. And in the reservoir is Blue Planet Nutrients, Blue Max 2-part, some CalMag. And then what I would do is stash blend at half teaspoon per gallon every week. Every 2 weeks is typically what I would do. And I would just put that as a soil drench up top. Okay, these plants are ready to harvest. So let's go through the harvest process and then hang them to dry, and I'll talk about the drying conditions. Okay, so for harvesting, I have a couple tools here. I've got shears. I love these ones. You can use regular trimmers, but it's harder to get through those thick stalks with those regular trimmers. So these shears are way, way better. So I use these to harvest. I also have some coat hangers here, because once I harvest the plant and cut it, I'm gonna be hanging the plant from the coat hanger, and then kind of clips, got the clips here, which I'll use, put one on each coat hanger, and that'll connect to the actual plant. That's really all I need right now, is these 2 things. So let's hop into the tent and cut these plants down. Hang these up here, space them out accordingly. That's what we're gonna be drying in the grow tent here. I do have some of these plants held up by support. So I have some half tomato cages in here, and I can't remember if I put clips on here to kind of hang these branches up. No, so let me remove these. We're gonna see some serious floppage here. So remove that one, nothing else is connected to it. So I'm just gonna basically use these shears to cut at the base. And let's get in here. There we go. And then we will bring it up here. And clip it on there to hang dry. Let's do it to the other 2 plants. This down. Second plant, and 1 more to go. Nope, it fell off. Weave this one in here. Okay, so I've got the 3 plants hanging now, ready to start drying. I moved the grow light up here just for filming purposes. This light is gonna turn off once we're done filming. Also, you can see that I'm not running a carbon filter. I don't need to actually hide the smell here. I have an exhaust just going right outdoors. So some of you might have noticed that one. But basically what I'm gonna do for drying conditions, let's talk about that next. So if this was a flower run, drying in a grow tent, I would aim for 60 degrees Fahrenheit, 60% relative humidity. Now, sometimes it's difficult to get down to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So if it creeps upwards of 65 degrees, sometimes it might touch 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I was usually okay with that. This being a breeding run, and really I'm harvesting the seeds out of this, not actually flower. I want this to dry as quickly as possible. I want this to be so dry that when you hold it in your hand, you can crumble it up and everything just splits apart. The seeds split apart from the plant material. So completely different from a regular flower run. So, like I said, I'm gonna cut off this light. I'm still gonna have a couple oscillating fans here for air circulation, but I am not gonna run this humidifier. So I'm not gonna try to increase the humidity. I'm not gonna regulate the humidity. I live in a very dry climate as is. It's about normally about 25 to 35% relative humidity. Great, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. I want it to be as dry as possible. So these dry as quickly as possible. And then I can, of course, like I said, crumble them up, and then I'll put them into a seed sorter, where it'll actually sort the seeds from the plant material. I'll also get rid of all this other stuff down here. We've got the grow pots, the blue mat system. I'm gonna clean this all up before I actually close up this tent. And I'll have this inline fan on a setting of 1, 24/7. So it's gonna be constantly removing that air out of the grow space. And these plants should dry within, I don't know, 4 days roughly, maybe 4 or 5. I know definitely at the 7-day mark, it'll be crumbly. So I'm just gonna wait it out. Once they get to that point, then I'll be able to separate the material, and then we should be good to go. I've got F4s on the way. Now, I know some people are wondering about release. When will these F4s be released? Well, I am a big proponent of testing genetics before release. So these are gonna go through a series of testing, both with myself as well as other internal team members that I have that are testers. So we'll give it a run, see, make sure everything's looking good, make sure there aren't any hermaphrodite traits that pop out during the testing phase, and then they will be released. If you want to stay up to date on that, follow my email list, mrgrowit.com/list. That's pretty much all I got for this video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This run has been awesome. I'm really happy to be taking this genetic to the next generation here. I know a lot of people asking about femmes. When am I gonna do a femme line? Well, maybe with these F4s, then that would be a project in the future, is turning them into feminized. So we'll see, stay tuned on that. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for future updates, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out, everyone.